AskReddit by equivalent shop 6471. What are your views of marriage and what generation are you part of? Millennial. I would love to get married someday if I find the right woman. The hard part is finding someone who's compatible and available. Gen X. Never, ever marry someone who isn't your favorite human being in the world. They should make you laugh like an idiot. Don't ever marry someone who isn't kind. One time I was on a roll and managed to have my wife laughing for an hour straight. She commanded me to be quiet. She was having trouble getting any air from laughing. One of my proudest moments. Millennial. Was only going to do it if I found someone I was genuinely in love with and wanted to marry. The fact I found her was more luck than anything, and eHarmony. I met my husband on eHarmony too. We've been married for more than 18 years now. On our first anniversary, eHarmony sent us a Tiffany bowl. It's fluted on the sides, and when you look down on it, you can see that the fluting creates hearts. We still have it. Gen X. Married 32 years this summer. I met him in Mexico. We wound up living 18 miles away from each other. Married 18 months later. Make sure you find someone that makes you laugh and believes in you and vice versa. Gen X. Marriage works for me. My best friend is happier keeping things separate. Neither of us is wrong. Gen X. And if you want to get married, you go ahead, but you don't need a piece of paper to be in a committed relationship. Helps with benefits and medical decisions though, TBH. But you're right, you can be committed as you want to be. Gents, I thought it should be every couple's individual decision if they want to get married, and there is no good and bad decision. When it comes to me specifically, I don't want to get married in the next few years, but maybe one day in the future, who knows. I'm Gen Z, 27yo, and I got married at 18. Divorced at 20. Sometimes couples decide to get married and it's a bad decision. LMAO. Millennial, gay, engaged. I'm excited to get married but deeply ambivalent about the idea of planning a wedding. We're probably eloping. Get one of your friends to marry you. You can have a quick ceremony at your favorite place with a few of your favorite people. You each need a witness. No one else needs to know. No real planning needed. Your friend can get ordained at Universal Ministries online. It can cost you as little as your marriage license fee. Gen X. Marriage is a way of demonstrating your commitment to someone else and them to you. What the precise details of that commitment are varies from marriage to marriage and is frankly nobody's business besides you and your spouse. Furthermore, just because you have committed yourself to spend your life with someone else does not mean you shouldn't be free to end that commitment if circumstances change. The fact that marriage can potentially end in divorce doesn't lessen the meaningfulness of marriage for those who find meaning in it. That meaning can be powerful and important, or it can be carefree or anything in between, and no meaning is less valid than any other, so long as both people agree to it. Millennial. I don't even like the idea of dating and romance, let alone marriage. I'm 34 and I have never dated. I don't feel like I am missing out. I'm personally Gen Z and I feel like I've never desired a traditional marriage. I don't really desire sex at all. I like the idea of having a partner to navigate through life with, but I guess that doesn't have to be a spouse at the end of the day. Perfect. Gen X and gay. I've been married a long time, and I believe everyone has a right to marriage. Get married if you want, don't if you don't. I really don't care. It's your life, not mine. Gen X and B. My Gen Z daughter thanks you for your service. It doesn't escape the younger generation that we fought for the right for anyone to marry who they love. And she says older gays are savages who give zero fucks. Gen X. Was married from 2004 to 2007. Won't do that again. Millennial here. I never saw it as a goal, or expected milestone. I always found the idea of marriage a little off-putting. So many examples of marriage I saw growing up were just truly miserable. I have also always known I don't want kids, so there was even less theoretical appeal. But then I fell deeply in love with someone, and mushing our lives together suddenly got a lot more interesting. We had a non-traditional wedding, got to have a big party in a room full of people we love, and have been together happily for over a decade. Millennial, I absolutely cannot wait to marry and spend my life making memories with whoever my partner is. Have always wanted to make my own little family. Millennial, child of divorce and think marriage for most people is overrated. I've seen a lot of couples together for years, but not married. And I've seen people who should have never been together, stay together. However, should I ever find someone who is awesome, I wouldn't mind getting married. But my opinion is that most marriages fail in the long run. It's almost a formality, minus the legal benefits aspects. Millennial. It is a peculiar thing. It has changed in purpose and tone pretty dramatically through culture and history, but I don't think we've ever collectively arrived at any "here is the relationship pairing structure that makes the most sense for humans," if such a thing exists, but we are always dead sure our current perception is the correct one. It is kind of scary how little thought average people put into it, given how much it affects your life and other people's lives, as our expectations ultimately form cultural norms. Only do it if you actually want to. Arranged marriage equals no. Obligation marriage, aka unplanned pregnancy, equals no. Gen Z, greatly looking forward to getting married, and I always have. More so now that I'm with my boyfriend. Don't give a shit what anyone else does or thinks about what I do. Gen X, marriage is a wonderful sacred ceremony, but it's not for everybody, and that's fine. Elder millennial here. My husband and I were together for almost a decade before we actually got married, mostly because it wasn't a big deal for us, and because having grown up with very dysfunctional parents, it took me a long time to get over my fear of marriage. During that time we stayed together and watched multiple friends meet, marry, divorce, and in some cases even remarry someone else. Whether or not you make it legal has no true effect on how committed you are or on the strength of your relationship. I would like to see this asked again, but asking for both generation and religious intensity. I think the latter may have a stronger correlation these days. Gen X, it's a nice idea, but people are gonna people. My siblings and I were told not to marry, it wasn't worth it. And none of us are. There are 6 of us. If I get a chance though, I'm gonna marry, and I don't care what anyone says. I am a dinosaur. I married my high school sweetheart upon graduating from college after dating for 6 years. We will be married 51 years in June. I'm all in favor of marriage and the lifelong commitment it implies. Gen X, if that's what you want, go for it. If not, that's cool too.